Hey everybody, I'm James Riley. I'm back with more Story Thieves for your listening pleasure. If you are enjoying it, if you're not, then I would just say maybe don't listen. That's my best advice. Thank you for listening, though. I appreciate it. We're on chapter 6. Wow. What happened last chapter? I don't remember. Oh, Bethany told Owen that she's in. She's willing to take Owen into his favorite series, Kill Nomenfoot Magic Thief, and use the book of magic that the magister has to maybe find a finding spell to try to locate her dad. Though Owen has some other ideas about why he's going in. So, Story Thieves Chapter 6. Owen's bedroom was where books went to die, Bethany realized. Every shelf in the room overflowed with books, without covers or with splitting spines, and even every so often just collection of pages held together with rubber bands. She gestured towards the books, raising an eyebrow, and Owen turned red. My mom brings them home, he said, sitting down on the floor with Kill Nomenfoot in the end of everything in front of him. Whenever a library book gets too bent up to lend out anymore, she gives it to me. So you live in a book graveyard, Bethany said, sitting down across from him. Owen's eyes widened. Oh, that'd make a fun story. Have you ever been to a graveyard in a book, like Pet Cemetery or something? No horror books, Bethany said quickly. That's rule number 1. Horror is a great way to get yourself killed. And speaking of rules, let's go over them while we can still back out of this. Bring 'em on, Owen said a bit too loudly. Bethany shushed him, despite the fact that no one was home. Owen's mother was still at the library, so they weren't exactly going to be caught doing anything they shouldn't be. Still, Bethany half believed her own mother would pop in and yell, "Aha!" at any moment, so the more quiet they could be, the better she'd feel. There are 5 rules total, she whispered, giving Owen an annoyed look. Rule number 1, make no noise, either here or in the book. Quiet is key. She actually just said rule number 1 was no horror stories, but got it, Owen mouthed silently. Or, got it. Bethany rolled her eyes. Rule number 2, no talking to characters. No matter what. Talk to a main character, you might show up in the book, and that's the absolute last thing we want to happen. Even if it doesn't change the story, everyone who ever read the book would see our names. That cannot happen. Owen nodded, but his eyes lit up with excitement in a way that fundamentally disturbed Bethany, so she quickly continued. That brings us to rule number 3. We do not change the story. No way, no how. If we touch something, it goes back exactly the way we left it. This is maybe the most important rule, except that all the rules are the most important. Do you understand? Sure, Owen said, but you've eaten chocolate and taken gobstoppers. How did that not change the story? Because they'd never noticed a little chocolate missing from a chocolate river or a gobstopper that I took from the gobstopper machine while the Oompa Loompas were teaching the kids a lesson, Bethany said, feeling a little guilty since she really shouldn't have done either thing. But that had been a really bad day. Anyway, these are my rules for you. If you want to come, you follow them. Got it? Got it, Owen said, nodding again. She gave him a suspicious glance, then grabbed the book. Okay, are we ready? What about the last 2 rules? Bethany wrinkled her nose. I really only had 3. So the last 2 are, listen to me at all times, and don't do anything stupid. That work? I'll do my best on that last one, he said and laughed. Bethany stared at him without cracking a smile, and he slowly stopped laughing. Now, you've got a chapter where Keel and his teacher aren't around, right? Bethany asked him. Owen reached over and opened Kill Nomenfoot in the end of everything to a marked page. Yep, the spellbook is just sitting out. Keel's off beyond the edge of the universe where he just found the 6th key, but he hasn't gotten back to existence yet. The Magister is distracted, casting a spell to locate the 7th key. It's the perfect time to sneak in and learn the location spell. No one will ever know. Bethany glanced at the page. Okay, from here on, this is going to be, for a while, it's going to be pages of what she's reading in the Kill Nomenfoot book. You can tell when you're reading it that it's different, but I'm just letting you know. It wasn't easy sifting through the past, especially for things deliberately mislaid. The Magister carefully wove 1011 spells together into an elaborate tapestry, threading them in and out of one another. Some showed his life, or his children's, or the school he once ran, or even old enemies. Other spells went back further, to the very beginning. The 7th key hadn't been seen since the locking of the source inside the vault of containment. To find the key meant finding the location of those who had been present, which meant only 2. The original president of Quantarium, Favora Bunsen, and a figure lost to history, the very first magic user. The spells pushed hard against the curtains of time, straining to part them. But something kept him out. Something from the very beginning. He banged his fist down. There was no time left. Dr. Verity had an infinite army from a multitude of alternate dimensions ready to attack Magisteria, and citizens were being rounded up and jailed for even owning spellbooks, let alone using the now illegal magic. And if the hints Keel had heard were true, the entire planet might be in even more danger than they'd thought. and all the Magister could do was search desperately for the seventh and last key, and do what he could to help the boy who was never meant to be. Suddenly, the 910th spell opened a blazing portal, revealing President Bunsen, only much more elderly, recording her memories into a computer of some sort. The Magister gasped. That was it, the first clue to the location of the seventh key, the one most hidden, the one designed to keep any and all from ever opening the vault of containment, hidden beneath Quantarium, and unleashing the greatest power known to all of mankind, the source of magic. Keel would have to know. Over the hills of Magisteria, through the forbidden space separating Quantarium from the magic planet, and into the cities of science traveled a new spell, searching for Keel. The spell passed beyond Quantarium's atmosphere, back into the nothingness of space, then beyond even that, to true nothingness, to the end of space itself, to Charm's ship, the scientific method, and then past, to whatever lay beyond everything, and into Keel's mind. I hope I'm not disturbing you, the Magister said through the magic, directly into Keel's thoughts, but I found a clue to the seventh key's location. You must locate the original computer on Quantarium. The original what? Keel thought back. Sorry, I'm having a bit of trouble thinking since I'm beyond the edge of existence. I'm not even really sure I'm existing myself right now. The Magister smiled to himself. You are thinking, therefore you are existing, he said. Do what you need to, but you must find the very first computer ever created. Listen closely, as this information is of the utmost importance. And then we're back to the regular book. Owen reached over and grabbed the book from her hand before she could turn the page. See, he said, it's the perfect time to sneak in. He'll never even know, because he's doing all kinds of magic and talking to Keel. In and out, 5 minutes. Ready? Seems like Owen's hiding something here. Ready, Bethany said, inwardly terrified. This was such a bad idea. But maybe things would go better than she expected. Maybe it'd even be fun to do a little bit of magic. And they'd laugh and have a good time, and maybe, probably not, but maybe she'd find that Owen really could be trusted. Could even be a friend. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? To have someone to hang out with in books? To talk about things? Maybe even help her look for her father? She smiled, strangely optimistic. Could this be the first time in her life that things actually went well? Such a rude way to end a chapter because you know it's not going to go well. That's called foreshadowing. So, that was chapter 6, and we will get to chapter 7 very soon, where you find out what happens when they jump into their first book. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you had fun. I'll talk to you soon.